Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
637 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. It's Brian Wilson, Larry O'Connor. We have been, from day one, following up on what happened in Benghazi. Now, with all of the developments surrounding General Petraeus, and we have another general that is caught up in this whole sordid affair, it appears now. We thought it'd be a good day to check in with Eli Lake, who's done some great reporting on this over at the Daily Beast. He's on the line now. Eli, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we appreciate it. Now, look, there is this thing from Paula Broadwell. She gave a speech at the University of Denver, and here's just a little snippet of something that she said during this speech. I think it was October 26th.
I don't know if a lot of you have heard this, but the CIA annex had actually had taken a couple of Libyan militia members prisoner, and they think that the attack on the consulate was an effort to try to get these prisoners back. So that's still being vetted.
That was Paula Broadwell on October 26th. I note that Fox News has doubled down, citing numerous intelligence sources, both British and American, that there was some truth to that statement by Paula Broadwell. And I know you've done some reporting on it today. Where do you stand on this? Because the CIA has pushed back on it.
I'm still trying to confirm that claim. At this point, the CIA is saying that there is no truth to it, though the actual phrasing of the denial that I had in my story that went out about 24 hours ago was not along those lines. It said that they have not detained any prisoners since the 2009 executive order. Although I'm inclined to say that they're very strongly pushing back on this.
All right, now the CIA issued a statement that said that the CIA, this is a direct quote, has not had detention authority since January 2009, when Executive Order 13491 was issued by the President. Any suggestion the agency is still in the detention business is uninformed and baseless. That's their official statement. But I looked at Executive Order 13491.
Right, there's a little bit of a loophole.
There's a hell of a loophole in there. Yeah, it says that it does not refer to facilities used only to hold people on a short-term transitory basis. Well, define short-term.
That is something that I noticed at the time that it came out. But I have been, people have told me that this is not the case. That they were not, that facility was not being used essentially as also a detention facility. But I have to tell you that I think that Jennifer Griffin, the main Fox News reporter on this stuff, has terrific sources in the national security world.
She sure does.
So I'm still trying myself as a developing story to look into it. But at the same time, at this point, we should say that the CIA has said, on the record, this is not the case.
All right. So your take on Petraeus and now this other general, his name is General John Allen. What do you think about all this?
Well, at this point, we really are still finding out a whole lot. Now, it is true that adultery is something that would be a fireable offense within the military, and that adultery has, in and of itself, cost U.S. military officers promotions, that they have been disciplined over this, and that it's likely that Petraeus in his career has signed those papers against those officers and that sort of thing, because he's had so many soldiers under his command. But it's also true that adultery in and of itself, at least adultery if it's disclosed, is not a fireable offense at the CIA. And there have been CIA executives who have had affairs and kept their jobs and not had to resign. I think that my hunch is that there's got to be some other element here, because
yes,
if this is just a matter of an affair, while it would be very embarrassing, I don't think that would be enough to force this kind of very public humiliation and the kind of shame. And I think that there must have been some element of blackmail or a sense that it was going to come out and Petraeus was trying to get ahead of the story. That's how I originally heard about it. When this first happened, people said that he was trying to get ahead of a story. So that's what it seems like at this point. And why? If he was having this affair, while he was a CIA director, it also sort of begs the question. I mean, this is a guy who, has had the judgment that he's had for so long. Why did it just sort of occur to him now, I guess, is the question. So I think he was maybe trying to head something off.
Our guest is Eli Lake. He's the senior national security correspondent for the Daily Beast. And Eli, I think one of the other questions, there's so many questions on all of these stories and how they overlap. One thing is the chain of command with regard to information flow. The FBI was investigating this in July, it's said, and it was discovered pretty early on in the investigation. So did FBI Director Robert Mueller inform the Attorney General as a protocol would dictate, and then in fact was the White House informed? It seemed like Senator Dianne Feinstein didn't know about this, but Eric Cantor, the majority leader in the House, is saying that he knew about it in October. What are you hearing about all of this, and who knew, and when they knew, and why they didn't know?
Well, Eric Cantor knew about it because another congressman was approached by an FBI employee who was something of a whistleblower. What we don't know at this point, and I'm still trying to find out, was this whistleblower blowing the whistle on the FBI investigation, or was he blowing the whistle on something else? Was this because the person thought that the investigation itself was politicized and unwarranted against Petraeus, or was it because they were trying to blow the whistle on
Eli, you're giving us more. There's more questions. We want answers, Eli.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's the first thing.
Well,
so that was because someone was approached. And then why wasn't the Intelligence Committee approached? Is that an important question?
Yeah.
Right. You would think that this would be something the Intelligence Committee would have to know about. And again, the big question, the White House, what did they know?
Well, that's the other question.
Yeah, the thing is there's so many questions. Well, Eli, we're running out of time. We could talk about this for another hour, but I appreciate you joining us, and stay on it. And if you have anything new, raise the flag. We'll get you right back on, okay?
Okay, thank you.
We will
very
look
much.
for Eli Lake's latest at the Daily Beast.